This is how you connect ClickUp with your Google and Gmail accounts. I'm going to do a full walkthrough of all the different automations and functions you can complete within ClickUp, and how to actually utilize with your Gmail account with ClickUp. A lot of my clients have been struggling with this, and I just want to show you on how a full end-to-end video on how to actually utilize ClickUp with your accounts. So I'm gonna keep this as short and sweet as possible for you. So let's sign in for ClickUp. That's the first step. I'm going to use actually the template here, the lead catcher template. So let's say these are your current leads. I'm going to show you exactly every single function you can do within ClickUp. The first part is where let's actually connect an email through the settings. First on settings, you can see the settings here. Go into email integration, and here you're going to be able to connect 2 emails depending on the account you're paying for here. I have Business Plus, so I have access to 2 linked email accounts. I can add even more accounts, but this is going to cost me an additional $24 a year, which is also equivalent to about $2 per month, right? Which is a fine price. I don't think paying $2 a month is a biggie, and obviously if you're going to utilize this, you might as well connect all your email accounts. But if you have less than 2 email accounts you want to connect, then of course this is going to be working for you. I'm not sure the exact system you have to be. I know the free plan does not offer this. So if you have the free plan, you have to upgrade. But if you have anything else, you can just use the current system. So log in with your comments, right? So log in with your emails inside of the ClickUp and just make sure they're connected. That's the first step here. Second, let's go back to the lead catcher template. This is how you actually connect the. Let's go in within a list. The first step and the easiest step would be how to actually send emails within ClickUp. This is very straightforward, and I will cover even more in-depth detail on how to actually utilize this. First off, go into a task, right? And you can see, this is actually just some testing I've done before. Let me actually go into another one here, right? Your emails are going to send by, like this is how you send emails within ClickUp. You press on write a comment, and then a new column, which is called email, will populate inside of the ClickUp task. This will only populate if they have the free, the paid plan. Email. So you can choose from what email you're going to send from. I want to choose the info as well as sign. Another important thing to remember here is that the contact address will always be the suggested emails, right? So if I now change this to my own email instead, to maxi@welldesigned, then if I'm not going back, you see the suggested email is now my own email. So if you ever have a bunch of clients and kind of employees handling your ClickUp, make sure to always input the right contact address, and make sure it's not like owner address or like your employee address. Make sure it's the equivalent to the client up here. Because if some people won't think about how we would just press the suggested email. So make sure it's the correct email, and that's how you kind of connect the two. I want to send from my info email to the well-assigned email. Subject, test. Hey YouTube, this is how it looks like. You can also add your own signature. You can add an Ask AI, which is the brain. You can add files, mention our tasks, emojis. You can even do templates, and you can do settings. Templates are for the higher paying plans. So you can have email templates, always being ready to just send through the from ClickUp, but those are in the paying plans, and I won't cover that in this video because that's just another step here. More for, I think this for even the enterprise partners here. There are 2 fields which are important here, CC and BCC. CC, of course, is just a forwarding address. So if I send an email to myself, I can forward that to another employee, another person, just more people, just forward that address to. So I can send to more than one person. The BCC, it's the same thing, but it's going not to be visible. So it's a blind contact. So if I enter the BCC, they won't say that this has been forwarded to another person. I think that's how it works. So if I now send this, it will add the email here, comment send to my address, and this is a email here. Now let's go into my actual Gmail account and see how this looks like. So in my Google account, this is how the email looks like. We will have from the well-assigned mail, from info@well-assigned. We're going to have, hey YouTube, this is how it looks like, and I will say, okay, thanks. I will check it out, respond, right? I also have my signature inside of here of all my emails, so of course that's going to import as well, so keep that in mind. If I now go back to the ClickUp, they will actually respond within the same thread and be updated as a comment inside of here, which is indeed super useful. So let me just, hopefully this will be, yeah. So respond from the person saying thanks, I'll check it out. And then I have my signature here with my phone number, my, of course, email address, and my website. That's how easy the first step of ClickUp actually is. You just have to connect like this. You can reply again saying, hey, suggest to, amazing. Let me know if you have any questions about the AI project we did last week. Right? So you can utilize this how much you want, and kind of you can do the same thing, and it will keep updating the email inside of the mailbox, right? So goes back the email and it works like this back and forth. It's super straightforward, but there are a couple of problems when it comes to the email thread, and we'll cover that later. The first problem, of course, is that what if they send a new address and you actually receive a mail? That will also come up later on, how to fix that. Now, what if you already have a sequence, right? What if you already have, okay, let me do the testing here. So what if it's an already existing email thread which wasn't started inside of ClickUp? How do you import those emails? Super straightforward. You actually add the email to at, in this case, let me send to info@well-assigned and say, hey, this is an ongoing email thread. I'll press on send. This is an already thread which has not been started inside of ClickUp. Well, how do I add this to ClickUp? Because you can't send it, because if I send another email, it's going to start another thread, right? If that makes sense. But to add existing emails, existing threads inside of the ClickUp, press on the task settings at the top. You press on send email to task, and you will actually get the email link copied to the task, which is a forwarding address. So if I now go back to the email and press forward, I can add the forwarding key address. It's like this. If I now send this, then this is going to be added as a thread inside of the ClickUp. And that's how you add existing threads inside of a ClickUp bot. So not only can you add new threads and new emails like this and send that through here, I just got notified as well, but you can also add existing and old threads from clients by just adding the forwarding address just right here. And that's a very simple way of actually utilizing the ClickUp functions. So if we go back now, we have the full thread here, everything here inside. And now we can do the same thing here. Of course, I'm not sure if you can reply through here. It's not going to be the same. So to reply, you can of course add the forwarding address instead of here, and of course all the new emails will come up, if that makes sense. So we can view the full email and you can view everything here, but that's how you add existing threads inside of ClickUp, if that makes sense. Now, there are lots more things you can function, because this is not all. What if, so the question goes like this. But Maxi, what if it's a new email? Do I manually have to add all new threads coming in? Because the truth is, if you're receiving all the emails here, then you have to do an automatic system that inputs emails. And there is a ClickUp function that covers this. So if you go into a list here, if you don't want to manually add all the addresses and forward it, because imagine if you get like 50 or 100 mailboxes per day, I would definitely recommend creating another list called the mailbox. And you can add a fun thing here, which is the email to list. This will forward all the emails and create them as a task every time a new email reaches your inbox. Let me show you how this works. So go back to your settings and press on See All Settings. Now, once you're on the See All Settings, press on the forwarding and pop/IMAP. And you add a forwarding address. I'm just going to copy paste this email from ClickUp and press next. I think I had a space somewhere. Right. It's going to, I think I copied the full thing here. So if I just go back and copy the email to list, I think it adds the full thing. Yeah. I think we have to do it like this. If you go back and add the mail, seems to look good. Next. And I have to verify, I think. Now, this will be the correct forwarding address. So press proceed, and this should be done. I can remove this because this is an old test of make.com. So every time I send an email to myself, let me try this. So let's go back to ClickUp. Let's go back to leads. And actually, like, do it. I think this should work, even though it's not the exact same thing. So I want to send from my info address to my Maxi and say, hey, hopefully this reaches the inbox. And from info to Maxi, and I press send. So now, because I've added a forwarding address, every time a new email reaches my mail, it'll create a task inside of the template. Will the signed forwarding confirmation receive email from Maxi? I think I haven't. Yeah. I have to confirm the system here. Right, but you get the point. You have to confirm this. Hopefully this should work. I can then just press on confirm. And I'm now allowed to forward all emails. So, if we do the same thing again, this should actually clean up quite nicely. So let's send another email from the same client here to email to saying, hey, populate in email box. This is how the body text is going to look like. And forward and just send. Just like this, it's going to add another immediately in the same second a new task inside of the mailbox. Hopefully I sent from the same address as well, or did I send from the wrong email? Yeah. So this is how the body text is going to look like, and it should create a new task. Hopefully in the mailbox here if I update it. Or if I missed something, I'm not sure. I probably have missed something. In this case, let me see if I did accept everything correctly here, and if I did receive the email. If you go back to the same things with the forwarding, you can say forward a copy of incoming mail to this one in use, and of course keep all assignments copy in the mailbox. You can mark a thread, you can archive, you can delete, right? So you can both have it cleaned up, or you can always just forward it into, I'll always just keep the well-assigned email into mailbox and in the inbox, and I'll just keep it as is. So I have to just enable the forwarding here. You can also create filters. You don't have to forward all emails, but that's for another step with the Gmail account and so on. So if you go back to ClickUp, if you go back to the client here, this should all work very, very smoothly here. So if you go into comments, press email, suggested to. Hey, welcome. This is how the body text is going to be placed. Hey. I send this to the Maxet will assign, and this should automatically forward the mail into the mailbox, which is down in here, this one. And hopefully I have a new created task if it ran successfully. Maybe it didn't at this case. Let me see. So I actually forgot to save in the save changes here. That's why it didn't forward. But yeah. So basically you add the forward address, then I'd like to keep it in my own mailbox, and of course I don't like reading the email immediately. I just like having it clean, not read, and so on. And then I have to save changes, of course, which I didn't do. Now, if I go back to the ClickUp, if I send an email, this, of course, I done some testing now. Hey, to subject. Hey, this is subject line. Hey, this is body text. Also can add attachments. Let me find an attachment as well. So let me send with just a random attachment as well. And then I press send. Now, this is going to be forwarded into the mailbox down here as a new task. So hopefully it should populate within a second here. Like this. Hey, this is the subject line. So the subject line will be the task name. And then you can have the email, which is the body text. This is the body text with the email sent from, and here is body text. You can also add attachments. So you know which client it's sent from. You also knew which client with the attachment. You can see the full email. Of course, also the attachment in itself. That's how it works inside of ClickUp. Super straightforward. You just add a forwarding address. But how fun is it getting a new email here and to have to redirect it to the client and so on and find the right, like, imagine if a client sends you an inquiry about something, you have to go through the mailbox, you have to find the right thing. There are options how to make this even smoother. Something to keep in mind of ClickUp here, you can actually connect to Gmail and just have all the mails from ClickUp with the connect Gmail, open Gmail button here. So you can always have access to all the stuff you want inside of ClickUp, because everything's native with Gmail, Drive, Dropbox, and whatever, Teams, Notion, and Drive, and Slack, whatever. So if you want to connect your Gmail as a full-time kind of bot here, you can just add it through the Gmail settings and just connect it, and everything will be sent through. So basically what this is, it's a forwarding, or if you press on the link here, it will just get access to my Gmail. So I just open Gmail, like a quick, like a shortcut basically. And actually results, these are things I have in my Google Drive, which are just connected natively. So I haven't added this in my ClickUp. This is just stuff that is native because it's connected with the drive. So you can search all your emails, you can search all the specific stuff inside of here as well. I can also actually search for all the emails I have incoming and have in my email box through the search function and the Gmail module. So I can see all my emails from all meetings, from all my clients within ClickUp without having to go into Gmail and then access it myself. So if you're looking for like a meeting notes or a meeting summary, whatever, just search in your ClickUp for the Gmail and then search for the specific mail, and you get all the mails inside of here. Super straightforward. So if I now go back to an email here, you can just press on open, and this will open inside my email. Very straightforward how this works, right? So that's how you connect ClickUp natively inside of ClickUp. So, or how you connect Gmail inside of ClickUp. So that's the first part. But the second part is the automated part here. We can kind of automate and make everything streamlined, so you don't have to do all of this stuff manually. So let's sign up for make.com. Make.com is just like Zapier, only then it just has its own automation functions, so you can connect multiple tools together. You have probably heard of it before, but if you haven't, just sign up with the free plan and it will be good enough to go. So once you're in the scenarios, press on create a new scenario. Sign up, free plan, create a scenario, that's it. First module will be actually the mail hook module. So search for mail hooks and go into the custom mail hook one. You add a new mail hook and call it ClickUp integration for YouTube test, whatever. All right, save. And this will work the same way as the ClickUp forwarding. So you can copy this address, like you copy the address. you go back into the settings. I'm going to actually remove this and do it like this and save changes. I think I got something extra here. Right. So let me just refresh this. So I've removed the old forwarding address and I'm going to add the make.com one, which is this, right? Next. Did I miss something here? Make.com, mailhook, custom mailbook should work. It's the same thing. Oh, okay, I have the forwarding to this address, okay. So I've now added the forwarding address and it just bugged out a bit, so I had to update the Gmail. So it's the same account and everything. I just deleted the old one. And then of course just had this one here, which is the make.com mailhook. So to verify this and kind of make it work, you have to send an email to your own account. So let me actually use the, let me actually use this one again. Let me send an email to myself, just for the fun of using this one. Myself, hey, and test. Let me just activate this to make sure it's running. Run once, and let me just send the email. And I should receive it to this mailhook, and it should say successful here, because I've added the forwarding address the same way I did inside of ClickUp, right? Did I receive an address? So in short, I got the email address now. I'm not sure if this was because I did, let me just see. Yeah, okay. So you resend the email address, you can just get the same thing. So I did the same thing in ClickUp, which I did in make.com. So you have the address, so just please link below and confirm your request. So just copy this to your browser and confirm the request. Confirm. Now we may now forward to the mail, right? So that's the first step here. Works very well. And that's done, right? So we probably have everything here verified and good to go, right? Forwarding incoming emails to the mailbox, and this is a bit buggy, which I'm not sure why. Let me see. So I had to do the same thing for Gmail. I'm not sure why it keeps bugging out, but now it works again, I guess. So just if you have the same problem, go out to email, go back, and then just update and refresh the site. It should be available again. Sometimes Google is just weird, to be honest. So now that works. That's the first step. Now let me do the second step. Let me actually list all. We can do a couple of things. So the thing I want to do here, I want to get a task. So when I receive an email from a client, from a potential client, whatever, I want to list that email inside of ClickUp. So once a new email comes in, I want to attach the email inside of the proper ClickUp account. So in short here, the thing you're going to do is you're going to have the mailer coming in inside of ClickUp. Then we're going to list all tasks within a list here. So I've chosen the lead catcher list, which is my list here, which is called lead catcher. So if we go to the left lane, it's lead catcher, and that's my list, right? So I want to find emails to my clients here, which is my client database. Now, go back to make. You want to put the right folder, put the right list, everything. And then I want to use the, you can pick if you want to like include closed or archive tasks. I just want to keep active tasks. That's all, right? So if we go back to list all tasks, we can actually sort and get by custom fields. So add an item, and the custom field will be called, in this case, if I go back to Nicole here, it's called contact address, if you're not sure. Yeah, contact address. So I want to match the client who has contact address, my email. So make custom field contact address, and I want to match that to equals, equals, and yeah, equals, and then equals to the correct email in this case. Recipients, copy recipients should be from the sender here. Let me just see if I can get the exact correct. Let me just send another test here. to make sure I get the exact system, because that was just a test back then. So let me just send back an email to myself saying, hey, send, and I should receive the email inside of the mail hook, and I can catch all the relevant data. That's correct, right? Perfect. Go back. I can now see that the sender is info well assigned. Perfect. So if contact address equals to sender, which is going to be the info well assigned, which is the same one, so I was correct. Press save. We can then, in this case, I like adding a comment in ClickUp. So comment. You can do post a task comment. So task ID, comment text from the email. So we can see the email here, which should be somewhere around attachments, copy recipients, blind copy recipients. Hey, okay, there. Text, and then let me put spacing, and then. So make sure to list all the tasks and pick the right list, follow whatever. In my case, of course, as I said, it was, I used the lead catcher and the leads list, right? So pick all the right stuff. Pick the contact address equals to the email sender. So my email sender was info@well-assigned, correct? So the info sender is the client email that sends from you. Client email could be, let's say, Nicole from well-assigned. So to make this work, you add that the mail equal to the ClickUp mail, right? So you have to make sure that the email is within ClickUp as well. So let me change the Nicole to it's coming from info@well-assigned instead, right? So it's the correct one because I'm sending from that email. That's kind of the client email in this case. Go back, and then like posting a comment. I think comments are the best way to kind of, so post a task comment. You'll have the task ID, this one, then you'll have the text, which is the subject line, and then we're going to have the text, right? Save. Now, once I send an email from a client, let's say from Lindsay here, we can press an email. I want to send to Maxi@well-assigned. That's kind of your email, your company email. And from is from the client's email. So your client being, let's say, Amazon. Subject, hey, subject line, or hey, my AI automate, or my ClickUp system has problems. And then you write, hey, Maxi, my current automations on the lead list are bugging out. They are not triggering once a new client gets signed, right? So I sent to myself, or I sent to the kind of support email, which is myself here, from info. So now, if I press send and make sure this is active, let's press 1. This email from your client is going to get attached to the right client inside of the system here. So, hey Maxi, my ClickUp has a problem. Hey Maxi, my current automation on. So every time you receive an email from a client, it will get attached to the client. So you'll never miss another email, and you'll have full on control of where all the emails is coming. And for the workaround here, you can't respond to them immediately, which is quite sad. So the thing I do here for responding to emails instead of ClickUp, press and write a comment, and you just send to the info@well-assigned mail, and then say, hey, sorry to hear about the problem. We'll take a look at it ASAP. We'll update you once it's working. Now, the reason I do this, because obviously you can't respond to this email, but you'll have the email from sending from. We'll update you that it's working, and once they now get the new email, they will hopefully reply within the thread, and we'll get the email again, right? But either way, it will still look like a thread, because you will get the email and of course the email back. So if they now respond to this email, you get it within a thread, just like we have it like here. Super simple. Now, for the last step here, I want to make sure to also add the email from who it's sending from, right? So I want to know who sent me the email, which is going to info, because sometimes some clients send from other emails than it usually is. And just for the ease of kind of sending here. And that's how you do this at scale. So every time a new email is coming in from your mailbox, you can forward that email and make sure it's attached to the right client. And this will make sure you will never miss another client again. And if you want to also notify people, notify all, like make sure to notify the people getting the email, and then they will make sure that you won't even miss the email either. But that's a simple breakdown on how actually email works instead of ClickUp and how to actually connect ClickUp with all the automations. Now, for the last part, I want to talk about how to do this with multiple lists. So you can just do it like this, and you can just duplicate the clone here like this. And if it's not finding within the first one, maybe it's going to find in the second one. And if not, of course, we can post a comment inside of the list. So if you have multiple lists, you have clients, you have, let's say, location A, location B, and location C. Just create 3 of those and list all the tasks and see what it matches to. Another thing I want to mention here is the last option. If you don't want to forward all emails, create a filter out of Gmail. So from to subject has words doesn't have size than less than megabyte, right? So you can only filter emails that have attachments, maybe only filter emails that have a link, or maybe filter emails who have a certain wording. Maybe your own name, or maybe saying, hey, hello, whatever. So you can put filters that make sure maybe you don't get all the spam. And another router here, if it's not going to find the comment, then just use another here and actually create a new task, right? So if it doesn't find the right client, you just create a new task. So this is how the system can look like at scale. So we can see mail hook, we just get a variable here. The router is not needed, we can remove this, that's old. In short, we list 2 tasks on 2 different locations. And we can see the router here. So if it's within one list or another list, we can just see. And the thing is, if the email doesn't exist for one of our clients, because maybe they send from instead of info, they send from their own name. So Jenny at WellDesign instead of info, right? It will still post a comment inside and just create a new task. So you make sure you don't miss anything, right? And those are the ways to kind of streamline this and make it more efficient, because not always will the client send from the exact same email every single time. So just make sure to add another kind of router to make sure that you don't miss a single email here. And that's kind of the system I've done today and do for my clients to make sure it's all streamlined and very effective to connect Gmail and ClickUp. So make this and create it for your own system. And if you ever need any help, of course, just contact me and make sure to ask me if you have any questions. So thank you, and let me know if you want to see anything else on ClickUp. And of course, I'll make a guided walkthrough for you. So thank you, and hope you have an amazing day. And good luck building on ClickUp.